Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AI Tech Tuesdays. My name is Crystal, and I'm here with Yamille. And we're going to be going over what we talked about in our last episode, which is super agents in Go High Level. We want to be able to kind of show
Mhm.
you a little behind the scenes look at what that looks like. So, welcome, Yamille. Are we excited or are we excited?
We are excited. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. So, Yamil and I have been kind of like just chatting behind the scenes, but we decided that instead of just chatting and planning, we were going to kind of just bring this raw to you because we really haven't had a whole bunch of time to sort out the high level super agents. We've done a little research and it's a lot, guys, but really cool things. So, Yamil, do you have anything to share before we get started?
I know. I mean, I'm learning about them too. So really, I think with anything high level, the way that you really truly learn something is by actually doing something, because that's how you learn whether you hit the mark or you gotta do it again.
Absolutely. I mean, AI is just like moving so quickly and it's
Mm,
so hard to
it
keep
is.
up. So we're not, experts in everything. We have to learn just like every one of you guys does. And so we would just kind of want to show you the raw. We were able to use Notebook LM like we showed you in a past episode and upload some resources there to help us because I went back on the back end of our high level account and I was like, holy moly, okay. Let me go back a few steps. Let's just throw this in a Notebook LM and kind of break down what it does. And then we'll work on some builds. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Excellent.
And we got it right here.
Yep,
There we
there it
are.
is.
Can everybody see
Perfect.
that okay? Yeah, you can see it. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
I can see it.
So, why don't you give a rundown of what super agents do, Yamil?
Well, I think a lot of people are used to those that use AI and go into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or insert your favorite LLM is that you just chat with it and you ask it questions. It's almost like a search engine for a lot of people or a therapist in some cases. You just ask questions and it just gives you back answers. But agents, on the other hand, are actually doing specific jobs. So you prompt them with a set of instructions, what you want it to do. And
Mm-hmm.
then based on the skills, a lot of times you have to create specific skills for them. Now in high level, they've already done that for us. So we don't have to do that. So we just have to give it the instruction on what we would like them to do on our behalf. And then that's their job. It's like hiring an employee to answer the phones and that's their job.
Yep,
That's exactly what
absolutely.
super agents are.
And
They're
one of the cool
workers.
things about super agents is that they're not super hard to deploy. And in high level, there's actually some pre-configured ones in there that don't take too long to actually deploy.
Hmm.
And what they're saying more is that these super agents you can talk to more in plain English than having to like program them or put
Right.
together like a bunch of code. But we put together this handy dandy little blueprint with our Notebook LM just uploaded a few resources so that we could kind of go over this together. So here, obviously on page 1, we're talking about just building our high level automated front office, which includes multiple things here. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail because I really want to get over to the page that actually takes us to a little more detail. Just a second. I got to figure out. Okay.
Yeah, the
So
way to
here.
think about that slide back there, go back for just a quick
Okay. Sure.
second.
Sure.
Just a
Oh,
quick second.
sorry. It's
The way to
highlighted.
think about this, not a problem. The way to think about this is that center piece, that center box is the brain. And then it has a specific, parts of the, that it's going to do. It's going to do different jobs. It's going to do,
Mm
see if you
hmm. Mm hmm.
notice front office, client onboarding, they're just the different jobs. So that's the easiest way to explain what that is right there in the front without going
Yeah.
into massive detail. Okay, you can go ahead and move on.
Okay, ready? Here we go. So
Mhm.
let's get into it. Okay. So the myth is that the super agent sells a magic button, but the reality is that it requires an architectural stack, right? So it
Right.
needs certain parts and it requires that you understand these parts. It says there's no feature that is natively called the super agent that hunts lost revenue on its own. Oh, actually, I think it built this because I add a little resource in there of a super agent that will go find lost revenue for you. So, anyways, but like we said, we've got on the back of high level, we have an AI employee bundle, then we have an AI studio in there. We usually work off like a knowledge base, which together creates your automated front office. Let me go to the
Exactly.
next
That
slide.
creates the brain that kind of drives everything else. It's the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge base.
Mm-hmm.
It's the really what typically lives in the owner's head or the person, the manager, whoever is running the operation. That's what it's essentially duplicating, not replacing, but duplicating.
Yeah, do you want to go over this slide, Yamil? This is really cool. It
Yeah,
talks
sure.
about 6 places that we lose money. So why don't you
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
over
these
it?
are the typical places that we see when we talk to prospects, business owners out there that are living this every day. They experience this all the time to some extent. Number one, missing calls, typically after hours. Sometimes the person who answers the phone is at lunch or, insert, you can walk away for a minute to deal with a customer, to deal with an issue. Problem number one. Number two is slow replies. When a customer calls, they're expecting to be handled right away.
Mm-hmm.
They're oftentimes are not. The third is debt follow up. So if somebody doesn't reply on the first try, like the customer reaches out and the person in charge of replying doesn't actually reply right away, sometimes that second follow up or third or fourth just never happen because they're busy, they're doing other things. Number four, unanswered reviews. This is huge. I think a lot of business owners don't realize how important this is. It
Mm-hmm.
helps your rankings. And it hurts your rankings if you don't respond ever or very late. And a lot of businesses don't respond at all. So that is a problem. And all of this is leaking revenue because all of these things, they have a a little piece of, all things together create a revenue loss for businesses out there. Number
Mm-hmm.
five, empty top of funnel. You have a website, you have social media, you have what have you. What empty top of funnel means is that you could have those assets, but if you're not bringing people in regularly via ads, via social posting, via videos, via whatever to get people
Networking.
excited about what it
Mm-hmm.
is that you do, networking, all those things are top of funnel. Basically, you're just feeding the machine, right? The sixth typical crack or leak, if you will, is a bare content calendar, meaning that if you don't have those posts ready to post, or you don't even have an idea of what you're going to post ahead of time, so it just doesn't happen. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you end up with a bare content calendar. And though all those result in revenue leaks for business owners.
Yep. And it also says an email nurture. A lot of people don't have email nurtures going
Hmm.
on either. So
Exactly.
those are important as well. Okay, moving to the
Right.
next slide. Okay, so mapping out the actual features to plug the revenue pipeline is us adding in voice AI, which is answering inbound. It answers your inbound calls, qualifies books, and updates your CRM. Then you have conversation AI. This is going to instantly reply across SMS, chat, email, and your social channels. You have your workflow AI assistant, which builds and optimizes the automated follow up sequences. Reviews AI, it's going to auto respond to your Google and Facebook reputation channels. So if someone posts a review on there for you, it can auto reply for you. You do want to be checking that to see because, you want to make sure you've added in some keywords in there and training it to reply correctly. But it is a pretty cool feature. Prospect AI, it's going to surface new recommendations by niche and area. And then your content AI is drafting posts, emails, and imagery for continuous nurture on your social media channels.
And a quick note on these six features is that Prospect AI is more for agencies. So if an agency is using HighLevel, this is what that is for. So it's not necessarily relevant for every business out there. It's more targeted and geared towards agencies and people who resell this service. All right, moving on. Let's going.
So, question for you then. Would that mean that
Yeah.
like if I had prospects that dropping at the top of my funnel for my business, let's say you're a HVAC company and you have some prospects in there, are you saying that that won't work for them? Or would
As
it?
far as I know, it will not.
Okay, that's a good question. We need to go research that and see.
Mm-hmm. As far as I
pending.
know, it is only meant for agencies that are prospecting for customers.
Okay, here we go. This is like the difference between our agent studio with flow agents and super agents. So go ahead, take it away, Yamil. What does it say?
Okay. So to make the system think, you got to choose your architectural builder. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. One of them is a super agent, and another way is to build it yourself and giving it your own specific instructions on how you want to build something.
Hmm.
Now, the super agent is more autonomous, right? It'll go out, you give it basic instructions. This is your job. This is what I need you to do. It's not giving you specific talking points, if you will. You're not telling the agent, hey, I want you to say this exactly like this or that exactly like that. That's what the agent flow is more, it kind of works that way a little bit more. Super
Hmm.
agents that just go out and do it
Yep.
based on the guidelines that you've given it, the
Yeah,
general guidelines,
in
because
plain
yeah,
English. In plain English.
yeah,
Yeah, versus your
because you
student.
have to keep in mind that the AI knows the world out there. So unless your business is very, very specific and has something that the world out there doesn't know, that's when you tell it that.
I'm excited to go in and
Anything
build these
else you have
super
to add?
agents. I went in there and I was peeking in behind the scenes, just like, okay, these are
Uh-huh.
really cool because you can activate several of them. And I think it's later on in our slideshow that we show that. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, ideally, the super agents are using like AI to be able to understand and respond and to build and do everything you need versus here we're manually kind of building out our workflows on the back end, like based on conditions
Yeah,
and our own reasoning on how we want it to do things. Mhm.
exactly. And it really depends what you need it to do as to which choice you make, right? On how to build them.
Next slide. Okay, here we go. Yep. So on our super agents, it's just natural language, takes a couple minutes to deploy and will automatically generate your skills and triggers. It's AI driven. And it's you can deploy it very quick for question and answer, social media assistants, and moderators. And then your agent studio is more of like a drag and drop visual canvas that you're using where we're building out the workflow based on our own logic and
Hmm.
how we think that we want it to operate. For example, like our workflow could say, like send this email out this day and then wait a few days and send out another email or drop this campaign or this offer or whatever. We're literally trying to build it ourselves versus the super agent is putting it together and it's pretty quick and it can take
Exactly.
hours building workflows and not just hours. Literally, I've had it taken a lot longer than hours because we're
Yeah,
really trying
yeah.
to refine it all back there. So,
Right. And it again depends on the job that it needs to do, right? Like if you've ever used ManyChat, kind of the same thing. You're building a flow of if they do this, and I wanted you to do this. So it's a
mhm.
little bit more detailed. So and it can you could be there for a few hours and then run it and find out that something isn't working. Now you got to sit there and figure out why. So
Yeah, and if we look at the best use case, it makes sense, right? If we're doing our super agent, it auto generates the skills and triggers. It's pretty quick. But if we're really looking to build something really complex that does take multiple steps, and we want exact routing and to connect to APIs, then we
mhm.
are going to want to use our agent studio. Because the other one
Right.
is a little, it's not as deep, it's not as sophisticated build. So that's a good
Hmm.
point here. Let's go to our next
Yeah.
slide and see. Okay, here we go. So go ahead and go over this slide if you want, Yamil.
Okay, let's see. This is new because I haven't got into this. So I'm going to read it with you. Super Agents auto generate functional CRM automations. Um, let's see. Describe the use case in English, and the engine automatically wires the underlying CRM skills. Yeah, it knows what skills it has because this has been programmed by HighLevel based on the skills that it has, the
Mhm.
features that it has to provide to you for your use. And then it goes ahead and puts it all together into a package. And just like it says, it's a package output,
Yep.
snapshot it, right? Based on
Yeah,
what
just
you've
like we
told it, the
talked about.
skills that it has access to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
neat. It's actually pretty neat. I think it's going to really help like when we really want to get
Hmm.
some work done on the back end to really do it a lot
Hmm.
quicker on a lot of things that don't need so much complex stuff. So it says it
Exactly.
grants absolute control through hybrid automation. When a simple prompt isn't enough, you can orchestrate autonomous AI reasoning without strict deterministic logic. So it'll connect your AI agent node is going to connect to your LLM prompts to tools. Oh yeah, it's going to prompt to the tool. So your AI agent is going to do that using conditional logic and
Hmm.
it brands attention. Oh yeah, so this is just like our workflow, right? In our agent studio
Yeah,
versus our AI agent.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Which may be over some people's heads here, guys, but we're just trying to break it
Of
down
course.
what
I
these
mean, we're
super
just,
agents are
these are
doing.
just, this is just, we're showing you what's available. And, depending on the job that you need done by the agent, some things are going to be more beneficial to you. And, you might be just fine using the super agent. And in other cases, it's more complex and you need to do the agent studio because you have to give it really specific instructions
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, I've
and
used AI
specified
Studio.
paths and things like that.
I've used the AI Studio Builder in there and had it build it out, and I've looked at it, I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, we need to refine that. That's not quite exactly how I
Hmm.
map out what my entire customer journey is or my buyer journey." So, like, if you're doing it for a buyer journey,
Yeah.
like, we have specific steps and, sometimes it's easier to just build it out even though it takes longer
Right.
because it's more custom. Okay, so what does this say here? Sorry, guys, we're still going over this new just like you guys, but so,
I can take this. I can take
go
this.
ahead, because 'cause I'm,
So
like, reading
so
it
like
as I
what we were
go.
saying, this center box in the middle is the universal source of truth. That is the
Yes,
brain, essentially. If you had to give it a name, that's what that is. It's a knowledge base and it only knows what you give it, right? So if you give it more information about your business, it's very specific, like the information that the owner knows and only the owner knows. Again, it depends if you want to share that. If that is public knowledge that you want to put out there, then you put it in your universal source of truth. In this case, it's called a RAG system, Retrieval Augmented Generation, also known as a knowledge base, the
the brain.
library,
Yeah,
the shelf that has all the
yeah.
books.
Yeah, not yeah, it's the knowledge base, not the brain, it's the knowledge base, it's what
It's the knowledge base. Yeah,
supplements the
exactly. What
brain.
you, it's
Yeah,
so
to
it's
help the
pulling
brain
from
run.
what you
Mm,
right. It pulls from what you give it, right? So it makes decisions based on the information you have provided. And then it feeds the other agents. It feeds voice AI, conversation AI, and Agent Studio if that's what you're using.
and it says down here that if a caller on it says only retrieve snippets passed to the LLM, which is your language model. A caller on the phone and a lead on the web widget receive the exact same synchronized answers regarding pricing, hours, and policies because that's what you've put into your knowledge base, into your documents. That's what you've said you've programmed it to do. So if it's doing it
Hmm.
wrong, you just need to go back and update your knowledge base so that it's doing it correctly. And it takes some refining. I know it
Yeah.
has for us.
And one thing that I, from what I understand, is important with these kinds of systems is that because the LLM knows generalities, like let's just say you're a dog groomer and somebody is asking specific questions about grooming their dog, right? And it's not specific to your particular business. Don't put it there because it could find it. But if there's a specific way you do things that
Mhm.
is different than what can be found out there in the ether, that's what you put in there because overloading that knowledge base can cause latency issues and slowdowns and things like that.
That's a
So,
good point. That's a good
yeah.
point.
So
I'm
you
gonna share
you
that tip
put
with
in the
my
knowledge
team.
base, yeah, what's unique to your business. If you have
Mhm.
specific methods of doing certain things, those are the kinds of things you include.
I
Don't put
was
the obvious
watching
in there, in other
a
words.
YouTube video on a guy building out an AI agent for the first time to a super agent, and he, like, overloaded the knowledge base with
Yeah.
so much. He went into Claude and he just had it build this knowledge base or whatever, build it all out, and he overloaded it, and so he's like, "Well, I gave
Hmm.
it too much instructions because it doesn't need that much. It's using
Yeah.
AI to help solve." So,
Exactly.
just
And
a
that's why
point
you
there.
connect the LLMs because they
Mhm.
already know all the things. So you
Mhm.
just give it very specific information that it doesn't know, right? And
Mhm.
that's what you give it. Okay. Moving on.
Next. Okay, so go ahead. This is your slide, Yamil.
All right. So let's see. Why are the event driven front office? Automated event-driven system that transforms missed opportunities into confirmed appointments and fosters continuous improvement through feedback loops. It kind of shows that this shows the sequential flow from a missed call to reputation building review. I think this is
Mhm.
a little duplicated here somehow. Um,
Maybe.
but basically, it just, you miss a call outside of business hours. What the AI will do for you is answers and logs the transcript, right?
Mhm. Yep.
And it can fire back a text message if you have it set up to do so. And at that point, you can say, look, we're closed, but we'll call you back. Or we're open, we're busy, we'll call you back as soon as we're able. But at least you have responded. And not just that, but you've also just captured the phone number of the person so that they get something. Because really, a lot of times the customer, all they're looking for is feedback. They want to know that somebody's on the other end of the line somehow,
Mhm.
one way or the other, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Um, so let's see. Workflow detects the missed conversation, fires a conversation. Yeah, the loop. Um, if you have it set up to do so, you can actually schedule appointments, even if it's off hours, because if you have it connected to a calendar, you could be closed Saturday and Sunday, but that's okay. It's only going to look for Monday on or the next week, however you have your availability set up. But
Yep.
it can handle those things, and the customer is going to feel that they are taken care of. And guess what? If they can book an appointment with you automatically, they're not going to call the next guy. So, you know, and then
Okay.
your
It
people
can
can
also
actually pick it up.
it says it can also help with just your AI agent is going to actually help with just reviews. AI can instantly request a Google review to feed the reputation engine as well. I think that's important because
Yeah. Yeah.
that it also will do that for us. So
Yeah.
we
So it
talked
really
about
it
another
really
slide.
depends. Yeah, it really depends what level you're at, right?
I don't think we
Okay.
need this one because it just says we
No,
can integrate WhatsApp
it's just the
AI.
technique of the tech
So and then it's
specs.
talking about the how we're deploying it. Hmm.
Yeah.
We've already talked about this in the past that software isn't going to fix a broken process. It's going to scale it and make it
No,
worse.
no.
Right? Okay.
Yeah,
So next
exactly.
slide. Okay. And then supervise the deals and close the machine. So yeah, this is more like if we just want to make sure we're supervising and we're making sure that the blueprint and the knowledge base and everything is correct and that it's operating correctly. So
Exactly. And
that's pretty
anytime
much it.
you're building agents, whatever way you build them, whether they are super agents or they are built in Agent Studio or they're built using workflows the traditional way, you're gonna check to see what the results are. You might need to iterate along the way, make changes, make things better depending on the reaction. Maybe the wording is not exactly what it should be. You can address that and give it feedback and make it better.
So the gist of the story is that the super agents is more of an automated process that's built using just regular language, where our other agents are more, a lot of logic and build in there, where we're
Mm-hmm.
actually
Mm-hmm.
manually building them out, and they can be deployed in a couple minutes.
Right.
And we're going to be working on trying to get these deployed because you can do them in a couple minutes. So I know there's back there and there's already templates back there that we can use to deploy them. So we're working on a few things, buttoning up a few things on our CRM and some new offers and stuff we're just finishing out. So we didn't want to jump on the super agent project quite yet, but I'm excited to
Same
hopefully get
here.
it going here in
Same
the next
here. It's
30
like
days.
it's good to get to know the lay of the land first and then kind of decide how you're going to use it for your business.
For like us, I would say we have so many workflows and so many things already going that are operational. We don't need to go out there and like specifically go generate these agents. But if we had
Right.
like a new client come in, this could be super helpful if we're starting
Mhm.
opening up their CRM to start with and we want to get something functional and operating pretty quickly. I would say that case scenario would be ideal for us because we could
Mhm.
deploy them and get them going right away while we build the other more sophisticated workflows in the back end based on the buyer journey.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's great for the client because they can start to see results quickly and
Mhm.
potentially start recovering revenue quickly if, depending on what you're having them do, you're having the agents do.
And I really like
Yeah.
that second slide that really talked to us and showed us really all the places that you can link revenue. I hadn't actually
Mhm.
seen that on an actual like a flow, but I'm like, "Holy moly, there's
Mhm.
a lot of places." I know we do that when we do our audits and stuff, and we kinda go over with our clients,
Oh,
like, "Here's where
certainly.
you're missing money," but to actually see that and be able to show our viewers, like, these are the places you need to check in your business
Mhm.
and, tighten up, so well, I'd say that that would end it for this episode, but what's coming up on our next episode?
Well, next week's episode, we're gonna talk about the 5 funnel types that every business can benefit from.
Yeah,
So
super
stay
excited about
tuned.
that.
Come back and learn about that. We will be talking more in depth about those types of the types of if a funnel, for those that may not be familiar, is like a website, but it has a specific job to do a certain thing. It's not doing everything. It's doing one specific job. So we'll talk about that next week and kind of get you in the loop on that.
Yep. So don't forget, guys, if you like our channel, if you're watching it and watching our videos regularly, please subscribe. Please share with your
Yes.
friends. We're trying to grow our community. We're going to be inviting guests onto our show as well. So if you have something that you think could be valuable to our community, because AI is huge. We can't know everything. We can't be experts on everything. There's so much
No.
out there. We want to invite other people to come be our guests on the show. Show us what you know. Show us, help the community be able to learn and grow. So let us know. You can go to our website at aitechtuesdays.com. There's a link there that says, I believe, apply to be a guest or be a guest on our show. Fill
Hmm.
out the little
Hmm.
form. We'll review it and we'd love to have you on the show. Okay. See you next
See you next week.
Tuesday. Bye bye, guys.